Coming up, big advances in AI vision, and I'm never eating chocolate again.
You're listening to Double Tap, your daily accessible technology show. Now, here's your hosts, Steven Scott and Shaun Priest.
Hello. Welcome to another Double Tap. Do you know what, Shaun? A lot of our listeners listen to this show in high speed. Do you know that? They listen. I don't mean that they're on any sort of...
Stop it. Leave that alone. You mean double playback speed?
Yes, double playback speed is what I'm talking about. Yeah. Many people listen that way. I think we should record that way today so we can get this show done on time because we are running behind.
We are running so behind. And I'm not going to point any fingers, but it's your fault, Steven Scott.
Let's just say, I've never in my life on this show ever done this show with a hangover. That's never happened before.
I know, as we both don't drink.
No, that's right. And I don't drink, but I do have today a hangover. Mr. F. I know. Shocking as that may sound. I apologise to Mr. F, who knows a thing or two about hangovers.
King of hangovers.
Is it? Yeah, I was going to say, it's not a drink-based hangover. It's a food-based hangover. You see, the problem is, and actually what I love about this time of year, is that the cupboard is always stocked with goodies.
Yes. Well,
it was. Up until last night. Tonight might be a different story when I go to the cupboard. There's nothing left. There was cakes in there. There was chocolate. There was candy. There was little potato chips. Oh, my goodness me. Everything was in there.
Question.
Yes.
Is this anything to do with your pre-Christmas in-laws Christmas day you were having?
Yeah, we had that on Saturday. They came over to put the tree up.
Yeah.
And it was a joyous occasion.
Lovely. Well,
it was a really nice time. I've been eating since then, yes.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. So what we're talking about here is a chocolate hangover, basically.
Yes.
You did the, I'm going to say it. I'm going to use the term that the youth use. You Netflixed and chilled, but using chocolate.
I did. And I watched the movie Carry On, which is my want. This is the new movie that's out from Netflix this time of year. It's supposedly, no, it's not one of those British Carry On films.
Okay.
No, it's not that. It is, in fact, apparently, I've never seen this movie, but apparently it's very much like Die Hard.
Oh, I love Die Hard, the ultimate Christmas movie, by the way. Yeah.
Well, not according to Bruce Willis when he talked about it. He said it was not a Christmas movie, but
it definitely is. Die Hard 2 at the airport. Oh, no, it's fantastic. Was it any good?
This is also based at the airport. Something happens at an airport at Christmas, on Christmas Eve. It was brilliant. I really liked it. I think it's getting the mix. Oh, yes, of course. Netflix. Wonderful. But really, really good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was enjoyable. It kind of got me back into watching some TV again because we haven't been watching much TV. And it's funny, when you go to Apple TV Plus, if you've got access to that, it's a bit like an Apple device, isn't it? You always know whatever you pick is going to have AD. It's always going to be okay.
Oh,
you can watch anything.
And it's always mixed into the 5.1 surround. It doesn't just default to stereo. They do it properly, which is nice.
Although I did get a little bit nervous because one film or a series we started watching, which was called I Think You Would Do It Too. It's a thriller.
Sounds great.
Oh, it's good. We've watched the first one, but the interesting thing was when it started, it was all Espanol. And I'm thinking, oh, now I know a little bit of Espanol, but it really goes as far as, well, actually, no. Hola. It's probably as far as it goes, yeah. So I thought, well, that's no good to anybody. So I sort of quickly jumped into the menu hoping, because, have you ever had this before where you get a movie or a show and it's in a foreign language and it has AD, but only in that language, only in the original language.
That's right.
So anyway, I scrolled through and, hats off to Apple TV Plus. But yes, it did have an English and an English audio described version. So I was able to watch that. I didn't know it was a Spanish program, but it doesn't matter when you've got it dubbed. Although the dubbing's always, interesting.
Sorry, is this Double Tap reviews now?
Yes.
All of a sudden, movie reviews.
Well, people are going to be chilling out. It's Christmas time. People are chilling out. It's the holidays. People are going to be watching movies. I'm giving you a recommendation, Shaun Priest.
I will check that out. Carry On actually sounds good. That's on Netflix. And what was that on Apple TV?
You Would Do It Too.
And what's that about?
Incident happens on a bus.
Oh, your favourite buses.
Favourite mode of transport, yes. I will say as well, I sent you something on WhatsApp yesterday, which I would encourage you to watch if you haven't already. This is, I think, the first time that they've done this. But John Prosser is a well-known blogger, and he's been around for a long time. And well-known guy you go to for the latest sort of leaks on what's coming up on Apple products and all of that kind of thing. They published their very first documentary. And it was a bit of a marker, I think, actually, because, it shows how YouTube is going. YouTube is often, well, this kind of nonsense that you and I are doing.
Yes.
Or people jumping off buildings or whatever it is they do for fun. And that's all well and good, with GoPros attached to their heads. But, this is a serious documentary they made, and it's all about basically what happened when that iPhone 4 was left in a bar way back when. You might remember the story of the iPhone 4 that came to light. The 3GS was out at the time, and the iPhone 4 was being sort of tested out in the field. And the guy who was in charge of essentially owning, he worked at the company, he left it in a bar, and it, of course, started this huge firestorm of interest in initially the tech community, but then more broadly to the wider media. And it became a big story. But they talk about that, but they also talk about all the other stories that have been circulating around Apple and not as perhaps widely told in US media. Although I would say outside of the US, we've had a lot of conversations and certainly seen a lot of reporting of what happened at that Foxconn plant back sort of 10, 15 years ago when people were essentially dying.
The suicide rate was...
Well, it was shocking.
Yeah.
Frankly. It was shocking.
And it is linked. I did watch it. I thought it was very good. It was, if nothing else, to hear an actual voice recording of, "It's Steve Jobs. I want my phone back." I was like, oh, there's Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
You get that phone call from Steve, you're in trouble. But
That's right.
no, it was very good. And the link was that the assessment of the amount of suicides was because one of the pre-production samples went missing. There was 15 phones when there should have been 16. And the amount of pressure on, trying to locate this on some of the workers there was immense. And sadly, some people took their lives because of it. And it was really interesting. I thought it was really well done.
I remember the Independent newspaper in London published a picture on its front page. And the Independent newspaper was very good at this. It would often have a very striking image to tell the story. And it sticks with me to this day. And it was a picture of an employee who had killed themselves, who had committed suicide at the Foxconn plant. The picture of that individual was on a frame. And sitting next to that picture was an iPad up on a frame. And it said, "What is the value of this device?" And it was just an incredible image, to put out there to people, and it really made a lot of us stop and think. And it's kind of, we still talk about it today, the endless cycle of new devices. Is there really a need to have a new iPhone every single year? We talk about this from the perspective often of how good these devices are, but could I think about the production line here? We talk about the supply chain. There's real people in that supply chain.
Yeah, well, not only that, we say this, and of course we recognize that, and at the same time we're going, where's my new thing? Where's my new shiny thing that I want? So there is.
But don't you think, as a society, we would actually? Do you think we'd agree? We could just agree, if nothing else, we could agree that, I'm happy to not have an iPhone. Where are we up to? 16. Let the 17 come out in 2026 or 2027. If that means that the care of people in these factories is actually considered, they actually seriously look after these people and allow them to slow down and do their job. I think if that was the case, I think surely we could agree on that, if nothing else.
When we live in a utopia, that's exactly what will happen. Until
kind of
then,
sad that that's not the utopia, though. If that's the bar we've set for utopia, it's
sadly
just to treat people good so we, can avoid having a new phone every year. I don't know. It just seems very sad to me, but it's a great documentary. We'll link to it in the show notes so you can go check them out.
Who was it by?
And it's FPT. I'm unsure as to what that actually stands for, but FPT is.
I thought it was FTP. So it's one of those.
It's definitely, it's FPT. I know that much, but what that stands for, I'm not entirely sure. But that's John Prosser. If you follow him on social media, he's a well-worthy guy to follow anyway, and he's certainly a voice that we listen to when it comes to the latest news and rumours surrounding Apple products, for sure. Interesting times for sure. But listen, I want to mention as well a couple of emails we've had in. because I want to mention in particular, well, I say an email. One was a text I got on Saturday night. Saturday night, here I am, having my first Christmas day. I'm sitting there in a food coma, pretty much.
Well done.
And I get a text message from the one and only Matt Ater from Vespero. Nothing else to do, clearly, on a Saturday.
I'm nervous. Go on.
And he's sitting there saying, you two just talk rubbish most of the time. And I'm
Yes.
okay, I can't disagree with that.
Agreed, Matt. Yes.
Again, you
Continue.
can't argue with facts. But he was saying, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in you.
No.
That cuts deep, man. That cut deep.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed in you.
Exactly. That was harsh to hear.
Sorry, Matt.
He says, well, he's pointing this at me because he said, you didn't know that Jaws has a screen curtain as well. You talked about NVDA having a screen curtain. You don't know that Jaws has this too? Well, Matt Ater, here's the answer to that question. I do know well about the Jaws screen curtain. I use it all the time. But my point was, and again, I was corrected on this by you on air and subsequently by others on email as well, that there is, because my thing was that in NVDA, having the screen curtain on was so hard to get off because you had to go to the settings menu to go through to find the setting to turn it off. There was no shortcut. Now, am I right in saying that, okay, there may be a shortcut now, which is what, NVDA Control Escape? Is that right? The NVDA
That's
key?
right, yeah.
Control
NVDA
Escape.
key, Control and Escape will toggle the screen
Turn it
curtain.
off and on. But that wasn't always there, was it?
I don't know. I was the same as you. And to be fair, it's not your fault, Stephen, because...
Sorry,
if you...
is something gone wrong? Are you all right?
No, I'm tired. It's getting late in the day. I had to wait for someone all morning. The point is, you go through that menu to find the screen curtain option, and usually every other menu tells you the keyboard shortcut, NVDA, whatever, to do this and to do that. When it comes to the screen curtain, there's nothing. It doesn't tell you the keyboard shortcut. So you just sort of assume, there mustn't be one. You need to go to the settings and go through it that way. So I did the same thing. I don't know how long it's been there. I asked, I can't remember which one now, Pi or Chat GPT, what the keyboard shortcut was, and it told me. So that's the only reason I found out.
Yeah, it's so strange that one didn't appear anywhere, and I was convinced for a long time it just didn't have a shortcut. But that's why I talked about it in that way, because it's actually, my point being is that, when you have got any remaining vision, you'll try and use it as much as possible. And that means even if you turn a screen curtain on, if you can easily, like I have on my Mac, for example, it also has the screen curtain, but its keyboard command is weird, and it depends on the type of keyboard you've got. You might have to hold down the function key as well. It's like everything. You have to have spider hands to use a Mac, oftentimes, because there's so many fingers.
Just go into the
required.
brightness, turn it to 0.
Well, that doesn't work either, because Macs love to brighten everything back up again.
Okay.
Even if you turn auto brightness off, it still does that. But I actually set mine, because on the numpad commander, with having the numpad commander on the Mac, you can set, your numpad to be on as a standard, just like a typical numpad. You can use it in any function, or you can have it set for shortcuts. And you can even layer those shortcuts. You could use the number pad 0. And if you hold that down, you can then access a whole other layer of commands as well. So I have mine set up at the minute as key number 3. And when I hit 3, that turns on my screen curtain, and it also turns it back off again. Now, I do, dare I say it, use some remaining vision when I'm coming to video editing.
Shame.
I know it's a disgrace, but I do. And, I love the Mac for the zoom, because it does let me zoom in. Now, of course, this is not a long-term solution. I'm working on that. Anyone who knows how to... Please, anybody who knows how to use Final Cut without any vision at all, please get in touch with me. I need your help, because I can't do this forever the way I'm doing it, that's for sure. But I will persevere regardless. But the point is, I have a very easy access to the screen curtain when I'm using my machine for anything else outside of that. Yeah, exactly.
Well, can we get back to Mr. Hater?
Mr. Hater, yes, Matt Hater,
yes.
who got in touch. So but he was quite right to point out that Jaws does have a screen curtain, but I think he was concerned that I didn't know that, and I do.
I see.
So yes, no, I do, and it's brilliant.
How do you access it?
Insert, space, and then,
Yeah.
Hang on, is that right? That's just got out of my head. How to do.
Please let us know, Mr.
I've done
Hater.
this so many times. Because I found insert space S is for speech. I know that much.
That is, yes. And V
Earth is a
is
screen
for...
curtain.
Oh, forget
goodness
it.
me, that's gone. That's terrible.
Well, that's great.
I could do it, and I bet I could. I don't have the machine on. If I had the machine turned on, I could just do it like that because it's muscle memory. But I can't remember how to do it. That's shocking.
We'll come back to that
Matt's
later
point,
on.
I guess, doesn't it?
Yes,
Yeah, I think I've just proven his point.
Either way, thank you, Matt. Yes, Screen Curtain is available in all of the screen readers, I believe. I actually don't know about Narrator, if there's a keyboard shortcut or if that feature exists. I'm sure it does.
So.
I do not know. I do in Windows. Windows A and then tab until I find the brightness and just turn it down to 0.
That's an option as well. That definitely is a good way to do it.
Just saves battery, right? A Screen Curtain can save battery depending on the screen, depending on the Screen Curtain method. It can save battery, but just brightness down to 0, then you know where you are.
Insert space followed by F11. There you are.
Oh, well done. There we go. To toggle Screen Curtain on or off in JAWS, a great little program that I'm still using on my Surface laptop.
Still loving it?
It's very good. Yeah, I haven't had any issues. I love the voices on it, I must say. And even, I thought I was going to miss the pouring wine progress bar of NVDA. I love that. It's just so useful. But you know what? JAWS actually just reading out the progress bar 10%, 15% every now and again. It works a lot better than it used to. And I'm finding actually it's reading more out to me and it's more useful than NVDA in certain processes that I'm doing in Audacity, definitely.
How dare you be right?
Yeah. It's giving me more feedback. It's very good.
Okay, well, look, obviously we are going to be talking to Matt very soon on the show because I think he's missing us, to be honest.
I don't think I want to anymore.
Well, I'll be honest. We asked him to come on for next big thing, but he was too busy holidaying in some faraway land.
Yeah.
So we invited you on, Matt.
Okay. All right, thanks, Matt.
We invite everyone here, but no one invites us to theirs. Just putting that out there.
Yeah. Don't want to think about it.
Maybe a good reason for that. Okay, look, before we move on to some rather big tech news today, there's lots of stuff to talk about. I mean, usually the lead up to the holidays, it all starts to quieten down. Not the case, but we'll get to that in a minute. I want to mention this first, though.
Oh!
So for those who don't know, this is the theme tune to Strictly Come Dancing, a TV show out of the UK. And its winner this year was a blind man called Chris McCausland.
Way to go, Chris. Ah, man, he nailed it, didn't he? It was amazing.
Absolutely fantastic. And, just a brilliant performance. It's funny, though, starting to see the interesting views from certain people out there.
What?
Well, I'm starting to see a lot of blind advocates who are not didn't seem as happy about this as I thought they might be.
What can they possibly have to complain about?
Do you know what it is? They don't like the fact that the partner, the dance partner, who Chris was with, whose name escapes me. I'm not up in the names of everybody, I'm afraid.
No, I'm not either.
But his dance partner on the show basically, is getting a lot of praise for the work she did in teaching Chris. And a lot of advocates are saying, well, Chris could have learned this fine. We don't have to suggest that, the only way to succeed is, to have a sighted person holding our hands. Well, I'm sorry, but I don't think it would be possible for me to do any of this without an expert. I mean, why are we reducing people to a sighted person in this situation? She's an expert dancer. She knows her onions when it comes to dancing.
Yeah, you know what? I'm
That's
not
who you want to teach you dancing, right? I don't want Sean Priest to teach me how to do the foxtrot. I'd kind of like her because she knows what she's doing.
We're down with it, obviously.
I have no idea what I'm talking about, obviously.
I don't even want to talk about that because that is absolutely ridiculous. The point is, Chris went on there and he did an amazing job, right? And whatever you think about it, he's going to be absolutely everywhere now.
Yeah.
Good on him. Good luck to him. And I think he did fantastic. Well done, Chris.
And, I think this thing that I like most about Chris in particular and all these things is he kind of represents the mainstream blind person. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Not afraid to have a bit of a fun poke at himself, not afraid to make fun, self-effacing, all that stuff. I think that's just what we needed out there. Dare I say it? He's acting like a human being. I know I said it. I said human being. How dare I? I should have put an identity first in front of that human being. But
he's a blind human being. God bless him.
Yeah, he's a blind human being.
He's
a
our
human
blind
being.
Fred Astaire, our Ken Dodd. He's everything. And yeah.
Do you think though he's going to come back on the show? Because he did promise he was going to come on the show. But then, of course, all this happened. So we said to him, "Look,
we won't get a look in now."
I know it's going to be like trying to get him on the red carpet with the Oscars or something. It'll be impossible.
He's been on the BBC. He's been on TV. No chance.
He's been on other podcasts. Just putting it out there. Just saying.
Whose?
Oh, like people with the following.
Oh, well, that's a disgrace. I don't care either way. If we speak to you or not, Chris. Well done, you did a great job.
Chris. You're always welcome here.
We were shouting. Honestly, it was like a party. Sarah was screaming her head off when they announced it. It was so cool.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Well, listen, well done to you, Chris, and I hope you enjoy the spoils of this, because your career is going to go from strength to strength, and it's because you're a great guy. Yes, you're blind, but you're a great guy, and I think that's ultimately it. Okay, let's move on, because lots of tech to talk about. And I'm going to play in this voicemail first that I think will get us going on this stuff we're kind of keen to talk about today.
Hey, Double Tappers. It is the Kansas Kid. I'm back again. But this time to talk about Google Gemini 2.0. The YouTube channel Illegally Cited did a video on it and provided the web link in the description, as I went and checked it out, and it seems to be great, much faster than the Envision Ally. So I'm excited to see what they do with this, if they bring it to the app, or how it works. So, yeah, real-time video, Google Gemini.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah.
All
right, calm down.
Thank you, Kansas Kid. Appreciate that. And yes, it does lead us into
breaking news.
Yes,
breaking news.
Big breaking news today, because this is it came out Friday, right? Is it Friday or Thursday?
Can I just stop you, Stephen Scott? This is massive news. This is what we've all been waiting for.
I've not got anything better than that. That's all I've got. I've got breaking news. What more do you want? Do you want breaking news? Big massive news?
No, it's not the jingle, Stephen Scott. It's your tone. It's your delivery.
Don't you realise how much chocolate I've eaten this weekend?
He's full of Maltesers. He can't move. The point is, the whole AI thing, the potential that we've been talking about has led to this. This last week has been amazing because, yes, Gemini version 2.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
I believe it's codenamed Flash or something. Has this multimodal aspect, which we first saw with Chat GPT 4.0 for Omni, right? And we saw that amazing video from Be My Eyes about, hey, tell me when this taxi's coming and things like that. And that's what we've all been waiting for. And Google Gemini was the first out of the gate to offer this. Now, how well it works is a different story. But the point is, it now offers real-time video. It can watch what's happening through your camera.
Question.
And comment on it. Yes, Stephen Scott.
Now you know how annoying it is, right?
I like it.
Okay, so you just said, this is what we've been waiting for. It's finally here. I should be changing my tone. I should be excited or something innocuous like that.
How dare you?
Okay, so fine. But then you said, how well it works, So what does that mean? You've been testing it out, right? You've been testing it over the weekend.
I have been testing Google out, yes. The point is
this the point we play the video, or do you want to talk first?
No, you know what? Play the video.
Okay, all right. So this is you out and about in your area, just out and about in your local area, taking the dog for a walk, I believe.
Taking the dog for a walk this very morning.
Right, and what happens? Come on, set this up. It's like pulling teeth.
Okay, so I went to the website, which is aistudio.google.com/live, I believe, or something like that. We will put it in the show notes. In Safari on my iPhone, I clicked or double tapped on the camera option, and then simply put the phone in my chest pocket of my coat with the rear camera facing forwards, and took it from there.
Okay, let's listen to that.
Keep monitoring the video and let me know of any obstacles on the pavement or anything directly in front of me that I could walk into.
All right, I will. The sidewalk is still clear of any obstacles, apart from the occasional curb. The street also looks clear. There are some cars parked on the street, but nothing that seems like it would be an issue for you on the sidewalk. Do you need anything else?
No, keep monitoring until I tell you to stop.
Understood. I'll keep monitoring the video and will let you know if I see any obstacles on the pavement or anything directly in front of you that you might walk into. Just let me know when you'd like me to stop.
Ooh. Now I'm going to cross the road in a minute, and there's usually cars parked.
Okay, I understand that you're going to cross the road soon. Currently, I can see 2 cars parked along the side of the road you would be crossing to. The pavement is clear, but please be careful and look both ways before crossing. And let me know if you need any other assistance.
Why didn't you tell me that car was coming?
I apologize. I did see 2 cars parked on the other side of the road, but I was focused on potential obstacles on the pavement. I'll make sure to mention any parked cars on the road in the future when I am giving you information about the road. Is there anything else I can help with?
Keep going. What can you see?
I can see a street with houses on either side. It appears to be evening or early morning, and the sky is overcast. The street is wet, likely from recent rain. There are a couple of cars parked along the side of the road, and there's a red car coming towards you further down the street. The sidewalk is also visible, and it seems clear of obstacles. Do you want more detail on anything specific?
Nope, just let me know if I'm about to walk into anything.
Okay, I understand. I'm watching the video and will let you know if I see anything you're about to walk into. The pavement looks clear right now, but please be careful, and I will tell you immediately if that changes.
Now,
Okay.
I will tell you immediately if that changes. Yet, in my experience, it doesn't. Now, this morning, I didn't walk into anything. There was no danger of walking into anything, apparently, for some reason. But I found that it didn't shout out, or at least not enough. You'll notice there, it only responded when I spoke. It never said, hey, you're coming up to, or, you know, look out for this. I'm, of course, thinking back to that Celeste demo that we got, which was doing a constant monitoring, and every sort of 9 or 10 seconds it would say, you know, it's clear, or there's this branch in front of you. This seems close, and what it tells you it's going to do is really inspiring. And yes, actually, in practical terms, not quite there.
No, that's very interesting. I mean, there was a lot of things. It always just seems to be waiting for you to ask a question, which is fine. But you need it to be more reactionary than that.
I am going to do some more testing. Of course, this is experimental. This is almost like a beta. This is experimental.
Well, that's important to say, because I think I've seen some people already trying this stuff out on social media, and the response is, oh, it's not what I thought it was going to be. And this was, I hoped it would be different. I hoped it would be better. You know, literally day one, okay, this is the worst it's ever going to be. So I think let's just temper those expectations. Again, it is not a replacement, and I've got to say this, I know you would say exactly the same. You know, this is not and should not be relied upon for mobility at this stage. Absolutely not.
Nowhere near. No.
Because you cannot trust, I mean, it was telling you the road was clear, but
I wouldn't trust it anyway.
But I mean, I wouldn't trust that. I mean, especially if it's not giving you information in a reactive sense. So a car turns a corner, it's not going to tell you a car's coming at you. So you still need to use all your original skills to be able to do that. Your own M skills, your cane skills, dog skills, whatever it might be. You got to be careful with this. This might be something that might be more usable at home at the moment. I can imagine sorting through a CD collection is going to become a lot easier.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no need to take
That's
a
what I'm
picture.
thinking of right now, to be perfectly honest. I'm like, you know, it's funny you say it's funny I say that, but actually, you know, I do want to rip my CDs onto my computer. You know, I want to do this for ages. One of the things that stops me is the process of going through them all. You know, for that purpose, what's this CD? You know, and just have it just always watching and listening. That sounds cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sort of the next step in Be My Eyes. And look, this is why I'm saying this is exciting times and we've reached it. It's because we've reached the next milestone.
Yeah.
And that is the real-time video description has become more accessible and available to more of us. Now, of course, is it going to do what we need it to do? Not quite. This could be down to prompting. It took me a long time to find the monitor the video. It seems so obvious now. But I tried all sorts of let me know when I'm going to walk into something, and it didn't seem to do anything. Monitor the video seemed to work best for me. You know, and telling it you're blind seemed very important as well. I'm a blind man. I'm about to go walk my dog. Let me know if I'm about to walk into anything. But there could be more tuning, more tinkering, more tailoring that you need to do to those prompts. Exactly what Be My Eyes did with their Be My AI feature with the beta group. You know, why it works so well for us is because it's been tuned to our needs. And it's the same with this. But I'm still very excited by this. It's still very cool. I will say, after about 10 minutes, as soon as I hit the park, it seemed to stop. So I don't know. There must be a limit on this of some sort. I don't know if you can restart it straight away. Right. I had my hands full, so I couldn't. But
that
yeah,
probably
there
makes
is
sense. To be fair,
this. I mean, think about it: continuous monitoring of a video feed and describing and analyzing.
The server farm is on fire because of you this morning.
Analyzing all that video feed is exactly. And that's going to be expensive as well. That's the next question, right?
So a lot of people are going to wonder, because look, I know there's lots of you who listen to this show and I have said many times, you know, a lot of this stuff just goes right over your heads. And I totally understand that. I mean, I think in its simplicity, what we're talking about here is a technology that is evolving where, you know, prior to this, it was about a simple chatbot that you would just ask a question in the same way that you would speak to the air with Lady A, you would talk to it, you would get a response back. The same is now true of these online chatbots where you type into a text field, you say, you know, here's my question, you get the answer back. Now it's going one step further than that because it can use the camera in your phone. It can see. And what it's seeing is it's grabbing images, or it's grabbing a series of pictures, or it's now grabbing the live video, and it's being able to assess that by itself and give you a response. Now, I mean, one example of this, it's not possible yet, I don't think, but one potential use case of this could be describing a movie. You know, if you're watching something on screen, you don't know what's going on, you could essentially hold the phone up to the camera, to the TV, and say, like, what's going on here? And it will describe the scene to you. Or if you're watching a series of pictures, some family members dragged you around to the annual, let's get the slide projector out. Do they still do that? Get the slide
Welcome
projector.
To the 70s. Yeah.
With the big slide
and
thing.
A fondue. Yeah,
yes,
why not?
That's right. Chocolate fondue in the corner. And mustard wallpaper. I'm trying to think of other things.
Space hoppers.
Yes.
Stop it.
But, you know, someone asks you, oh, look at these wonderful pictures. And you go, oh, this is great. You could just hold the phone up and get a live description of it, which is really cool. That's the potential, okay? But again, we're coming back to that word potential. The reality is I think we're a little bit off that because this is, to some respects, needing tuned to us. Now, yes. We are talking here about Google's Gemini, which is their version. The equivalent would be OpenAI's own product, which is called Chat GPT that we talk about all the time. Apple's Apple Intelligence is another equivalent to that. And there's many, many others. X has Grok and all these other ones. And Claude from Anthropic. And there's loads of different types. There's loads of these products, essentially, which are essentially their own AI, their own large language model, and now this vision model, which comes into force. But they're not alone in bringing this feature out, right? Because OpenAI, rather sneakily, little monkeys that you are, you brought out the vision mode on Chat GPT 4 Plus, and I guess people who are essentially paying on other plans. And I got a chance to have a play with that. Now, I didn't get a chance to record anything because I've noticed something about my house. Nothing moves in it, and the dogs are out at the minute, so I couldn't even point it at that or them. But I did try using Chat GPT because immediately I was thinking of that Be My Eyes video, where, you know, Andy in the video is pointing the phone at ducks playing in a park, and he says, what are the ducks doing? And you get this wonderful description of what's happening live in front of you. Yes. Hailing the taxi was the other one, right? Yes. Well, I don't live in an area where I can hail a cab, so I can't try that.
Any ducks?
There may be ducks. I don't know. I'd have to go find them. That's the problem. And at this weather, I think unlikely. But I did try something very simple, which was just in the house, ask it to locate items for me and just to tell me where things were. Now, interestingly, in the first case, when I asked it, can you describe the scene in front of me? It did. I asked it, there was a little tiny plant, one of Bob's actually, Bob's babies.
Little Bob baby, yeah.
Little Bob baby plant. I said, can you tell me where the plant is? And it said, yes, the plant is on the unit in front of you. I then said, and I think this is the key when you're using this stuff, you have to prompt it. So I said, I am blind and I would like you to help me locate items. And it sort of almost at that point felt like it just sat up. It was like, okay, right, I'm ready. What do you want to know? And
that's like the general public do when you say that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I said, so where is the plant? And it said it is on the edge of the left side of the unit in front of you. It gave me a more descriptive answer. And I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Now, it's not able to at this point help guide me to it. So, that's not going to happen yet. We may get there.
Colder. Warm.
Marco Polo stuff, right? I mean, that would be nice, but it's not there yet. And I know you tried that with Gemini as well. You had the same kind of problem. It was telling you there was a can of Coke, but it wasn't even there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was trying the same thing. It's not quite as responsive, right? And look, Chat GPT, OpenAI, I should say, released this the day after Google released their version 2 of Gemini. Still very good. I think it pushes the whole AI scene on, right? I'm waiting now. Oh, what's Meta going to do? They can't be seen to be left behind. Let's push forward with the real-time video description on the Meta AI, 3.2. Let's start to see everything being pushed forward. That's why I say this is a milestone. And I think Chat GPT goes even further, by the way, because on the OpenAI video that I saw on I believe it was the 6th day of Christmas, they did a whole series of AI videos on Chat GPT. And you can share your phone screen with Chat GPT. So the demo that they did was going into messages and, hey, can you see this message from so-and-so? Yeah, I can see it. Can you respond to it? Yes, I can respond to it. Here's what you should say. We've seen all this before. But the point is, there was also a point where Chat GPT said, do you want to reply to this? And from what I've heard and what I've read, it didn't show this on the video, which is always annoying. Can ChatGPT interact with your screen? Are we looking at a VOCR situation now on our smartphones?
This is the second bit of the story that I wanted to get to. Let me pause for a second, though. Because I want to come back to the point, because I know others will be excited by this. You were trying out Gemini's, this new Gemini 2.0, right, with the vision capabilities.
Yes.
So talk me through how you accessed that. So if people wanted to try it themselves, what you did, what the hoops were you had to jump through to get it? Because this isn't in an app, is it? This is a website. No.
And it's not actually in the Google Gemini app, because I tried an update and couldn't find anything in there, at least not when I last tried it. And it's incredibly easy, actually. As I said, you're just going to a website. So open up your web browser on whatever it may be. It could be on your computer, it could be on your phone, Android or iPhone, and go to, and we will double check this and check the show notes, aistudio.google.com/live. And when you go there, it's just your standard web page, and you will find you can either type to the Gemini AI, or you can have a voice conversation, or there's I believe it says camera button. If it doesn't say camera, it will say video, whichever one. And you double tap on it, and then you just have a conversation. At that point, though, it's constantly looking through your camera, so you can say whatever. Now, as I mentioned there, when I tried it outside for that sort of mobility testing, I was using the iPhone. But if you go to that website on your computer, you can also, I believe, share your screen with it, although I didn't test this out. I was just say, what can you see through my webcam on my computer? I'm about to do a video meeting. Am I in center? The usual thing. And it was able to do that for me as well. So, it's surprisingly easy. No sign up I needed to do. I don't know if it was because I was logged into a Google account somewhere anyway. Google is a little bit strange with that. You can be logged in somewhere and it will log you in everywhere. But it's incredibly easy to test out, and I would recommend that people do test it out.
So that's part one of this, I think, which is the bit that a lot of us are interested in. And of course, the next question is going to be, when is it coming to the glasses? Now, there are already a couple of ways you can do some of this. Now, it's not quite the same. We're going to be talking tomorrow to the good folks over at Biped. Maël Fabian is going to be joining us again to talk about Noah Chat, that a lot of people have been excited about, which essentially allows you to very simply send an image that you've taken on your glasses to a WhatsApp number, and then, which is their number, the Noah Chat, and it will send back a description of that image. Now, there's a little bit of work to be done on our end when it comes to getting, just essentially sending the image from the glasses by voice. Send an image, take a picture and send it to Noah Chat, for example, which is a thing you can do with the Meta glasses. You can tell it to send an image to someone. So I could say, take a picture and send it to my wife. But you could do the same with any other contact you have in your WhatsApp. So I can take the image, in theory, with the glasses and then get a response back. But there's a few hoops you need to jump through in order to get the glasses to read out that message. It's all in the settings. It's basically just enabling all the various settings and going in and doing all that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there are ways you can get the message read to you. I turned it off by default because it was getting a bit annoying, where every time you were getting a message, it would read every single bit of it. There wasn't a simple way to just say, right, stop, I get it. So that kind of annoyed me a little bit, but I'm now thinking with this would be a really cool thing to have, because essentially I'd be able to take that image and get a description read back to me within a couple of seconds. Now, it's not quick enough to do things like, is this the right bus? Because by the time the buses come in, you've taken the picture, you've got the response, the bus could be gone. So, it's not quick. It's not. This is the problem. This is where you want the live video, right? Because
yes,
the live video is of the moment, the keyword being live.
This is a replacement for look and describe. That's what
Pretty
this
much.
is.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially
This
for
is the
those
way
of us in
around
the
all
UK.
the issues we're having with that, yeah. So we're going to talk to Maël Fabian about that tomorrow. Also, I'm hearing about PixieBot as well. I keep calling it that. PickyBot is actually how you say it. And PickyBot have added the ability to do the same for video. So we're going to try and get the guys on from PickyBot again to try and give us a bit of an update on that. But lots of people trying to utilize the Meta Ray-Ban glasses to do this. But at the moment, if you want to do what Shaun did with his... I know you use the Meta Ray-Bans. People might be confused by this. You used the Meta Ray-Bans to record this, but that's all you did. Everything was coming through your phone, right?
Yes, my phone was in, as I said, my chest pocket of my coat. So that's why you could hear it. And it was poking out enough that the camera could poke out above the top. It actually works out okay. But yes, because currently there's no way to link any of these real-time video to the Meta glasses. But you wait, we are going to see an explosion in camera glasses. Now that we have this option, we're going to see more and more of these. We know of some already, but there's going to be more and more.
Honestly, Shaun, I mean, we're doing this show, recording it an hour or two before it airs. I feel anything could happen these days. I mean, I wasn't expecting all this to drop on a Friday or a Thursday, especially a week before the holidays. I was very surprised at that. There was no sense of that coming at all. It just dropped. Now, the only thing that kind of made me think really suspicious about the decision to launch it was because of another AI which dropped a visual component to it, or to itself, and that was Apple, who launched visual intelligence for the latest iPhones. Now, visual intelligence is now available, and that essentially means you can walk up to a building, you can take an image of it, and it will tell you more information about that building. Again, this is not tuned to us as blind people. It's not live either. It's based on images. But the way it works is quite interesting. So you take the image and it gives you two options. You can ask or you can search. Now, ask is obviously to ask questions about the image. I mean, the most basic thing, I think, would be, well, what am I looking at, or tell me more about this? But it seems to be built in that mainstream sense of visually you know what you're looking at. So therefore, the first step is, okay, what do you want to know? Like, what are the specials if it's a coffee shop? Or when does this place close?
Yeah.
That might be the question you would ask in a mainstream setting. But for us, it's, what the hell is it?
Yep.
And that's the bit we need to kind of get to. So if I do that, if I go into that ask box, I'm essentially taken into a search field, well, a text field, I can put my question in. I'll get a response back fairly quickly. Focus does not jump to the answer. So I have to, find my way, explore by touch to that answer. So by the time I get the response, I'm much quicker just going to be my AI and doing it, to be perfectly honest. So visual intelligence for me is not quite there yet.
Question.
Yes.
How are you accessing this? I've updated to 18.2. I haven't seen it. Where is visual intelligence?
Well, that's interesting because you have an iPhone 15 Pro Max, the Limbo Land phone, as I call it.
Yes.
Because you don't have the special button to access it.
No. Well, yeah, but you see, the 15 can run AI, Apple AI.
Yes, it can. And there must be a way to get to it beyond that button. But yes, you do
Maybe just through the camera app. Maybe it's just
Possibly
there. I
through the
haven't looked. Yeah.
more than likely. But yeah, that's probably the only way you're going to get to it. But yeah, you press that new side button, that new camera control button, not the action button, the one on the right side of the phone. You press that in, and I think you hold it in actually for a couple of seconds, and that's when it enables. Because if you press it once, you get camera. If you hold it in, you'll get visual intelligence pop up, and you can test it out from
iPhone 16 owners out there.
For the iPhone 16 onwards, yeah, which is
Very
causing
nice.
a bit of controversy, I must admit, and I can understand why.
Hey, we got enough options now. It's fine. It'll get better.
Well, actually, just small side note on that. If you're in the EU, if you want an iPhone 14 or an iPhone SE, you better buy it quick because apparently they are about to be discontinued in the European Union because
Why? What have they done?
of lightning, you see.
Really?
Yes. So the USB-C rule essentially is that they will not be available. It means that they're not able to sell them anymore in the European Union.
Makes
so if
sense. It's fine.
you want to buy one, then you better be quick. Although, why would you bother? There's a new one going to be coming out next year. Just wait,
Okay.
says I. Who always buys a new computer about a week before a new one comes out. Listen, I want to, because we're running short of time, but I just want to quickly mention as well, because that thing you brought up earlier, the second part of this story, which I think is possibly... Well, I don't know if it's more interesting, but it's certainly equally as interesting.
I think
That
so.
is the ability to share screen. Now, I've seen a couple of demo videos of this where using Gemini, so using Google Gemini, I guess that same website, you're able to share your screen with the AI, with the assistant. Now, Chat GPT will offer the same functionality. You can share your screen with Chat GPT as well. Now, essentially what that allows you to do is a couple of things. One is it's monitoring, right? It's all monitoring. So it can see. One example I saw was someone using Adobe Premiere, the video editing app. And they were trying to work out how to blur a clip on their timeline. And so he was able to talk directly to the assistant, sharing the screen so the assistant can see the screen, the AI. And he said, how do I blur this image or this sequence in my timeline? And it talked him through the steps and what he had to do. So as it's telling him, he's just going through with the mouse and clicking on the various bits, adding the blur he wanted. He then asked, has it worked? And it said, yes, I can see that you've added X amount of blur at this amount to this particular piece of footage. And it looks great. So it's refreshing, right? It's refreshing all the time and it's seeing it. Now, immediately my mind is going, all the potential with this. Now,
Yes.
if it had the added extra of being able to click on a button, you know, if you could say, you know, is there a yellow kettle? I always go back to the yellow kettle. You know, is there a yellow kettle in this Amazon search? You know, I can't find the add to basket button. Yeah, no problem. Do you want me to press it for you? That could be huge.
Yep.
Now,
next step.
where we're at with that, I don't know. But I saw another one that I thought was quite funny. So someone had asked it to watch when he was not working and alert him to the fact he'd stopped working and tell him to get back to work. So
I
he's
don't like that
testing it.
idea. Yes.
Yeah, I know. He's testing it by going to Netflix whilst he's working. So he's got his spreadsheet open or whatever it is. And he goes to Netflix and the AI says, hey, aren't you meant to be working?
No.
So he stays on the Netflix site and he's like, hey, it looks like you're losing focus. You might want to get back on track on this. And it proceeds to basically berate him for the next few minutes to say, no, you really... And it's starting to get a little bit more aggressive each time. And obviously that was what he wanted. He wanted it to do that. But I just think it's interesting how this is going to work and the potential applications for this. I mean, there's lots of obvious things we can think of. The obvious is an inaccessible button, or, you know, where is the cart, or where is this button, or how do I add to basket, or whatever it might be. Those are the kind of obvious things we will think about. But it might open up more opportunities for us to do things like, you know, the way that that guy was using Adobe Premiere. If I could talk through an edit on a video and say, I want this to be this, I want this video to start at about this minute, I want, you know, cut here, you know, I could just talk through that process. Suddenly that could open up all kinds of opportunities for us. It is very exciting times.
It is. Man, it's very Blade Runner. Zoom in here, enhance Sector 3 and all that. It's just, yeah, as I said, it's a milestone reached, and I'm really excited.
So where does it go, right? I mean, because at the minute, this is all kind of launched and happened. Now, you haven't got Chat GPT yet. Are you going to get the Plus Premium?
I think I'm going to subscribe for a month just to test out and compare it to the Google Gemini. But of course, I'm now looking at Be My Eyes. I mean, they're always, working behind the scenes on everything. So I'm looking what's going to come next with Be My AI. But again, also, I'm interested on how the pricing on this is going to work. This is going to get really interesting. Is it still going to be able to remain a free service? I'm not just talking about Be My Eyes here. I'm talking about everything. Once we get to real-time video, hey, if I want to go to town, I spend 20 minutes on the tram and then 2 hours walking around town and then 20... That's a lot of processing. Who's going to pay for that? Could it be free? Is it a subscription? Are we talking IRA pricing here? Honestly, I don't know. But, yeah, still exciting.
Listen, I want to mention a couple of other stories as well, because there's other news on the go as well. A very busy time, actually, for the time of year. We expect things to calm down a little bit, and they haven't. But Apple have now received approval, if I could speak, too much chocolate, from Health Canada to introduce hearing aid and hearing test features, I should say, for the AirPods Pro 2. This means that the features could launch in Canada soon, according to Mac Rumors. Now, at the minute, the hearing protection features are available on the AirPods Pro 2, but the hearing test and the hearing aid functionality was not. And we've had a few people get in touch saying this is not available in Canada. Well, the good news is, rather quickly, actually, Health Canada have now approved this. And essentially, it will now allow this feature to be brought in, which I think is fantastic. If you've got AirPods Pro 2, it's about time. First features in the US, of course, in some countries in October, and in certain countries of Europe as well. But as we know, it wasn't available in Canada, but it will be soon, which is fantastic. Also, I want to mention this: United Airlines and Air Canada are the first to offer official support for AirTag link sharing. So this is quite interesting, right? So those traveling for the holidays via United Airlines or Air Canada can now generate a shareable AirTag tracking link with airlines. So, what this article says is there's nothing more frustrating than waiting in a luggage carousel only to find out your bag has disappeared, right? While most estimates place lost and delayed baggage at less than 1%, the fact is it's cold comfort, frankly, to anybody who has to deal, and I have been in this situation myself,
yes.
To deal with the crisis of tracking down any missing items. Well, according to this article here, a new feature available in iOS 18.2, iPadOS 18.2, and macOS 15.2 on Mac lets customers generate a share item location link from within the Find My app. Then the customer can share that link with customer services, who in turn can help use that information to track down the lost item.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I have been in the... I know you haven't. I know you don't travel very often. Trust me, when your bag goes missing, it's a different story. And especially, as happened when we were on our holidays earlier in the year, it was my wife's case that went missing. And I've got to say, when it's my case, she was less concerned. When it was her case, I don't know, something about the phrase, nothing's a problem till it happens to you, comes to mind.
How about they don't lose it in the first place?
Well, that would be nice as well, right? Yeah. Okay. I mean, this could extend to absolutely anything. I just think, having the ability to share that information out, it might seem like a small thing, but that could mean a lot to someone who's lost or thinks they've lost a bag.
No, absolutely.
You might know what it is, but the airline doesn't, and that's the key, right? You need them to be able to track it down.
Track it in real time as well.
So stick an AirTag to everything is what I'm saying. That's the future.
AirTag the world.
Although I must admit, all my AirTags, I don't know if you do this as well, all my AirTags now are saying, you must replace your battery.
Yeah, mine did.
And I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it.
We were going to do that live on air at one point, because it was meant to be easy.
We did a lot of things live on air at one point, but,
I think I've lost my AirTag at the minute.
Well, I'm just lucky because we couldn't find the house keys the other day. And I remember thinking, I hope this AirTag battery is still okay. Otherwise, I'm never going to find these
Double tap,
keys.
The only show that loses AirTags. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I put that on a T-shirt. But the show that can't be found. But no, it's unbelievable. Anyway, listen, we're almost out of time, but just quick time to mention our plans for the next couple of weeks. We are going to be taking some time off from next week. So we will be here right through until the 25th of December, when we will have a special episode on the 25th featuring our good friends across AMI, the stars of AMI. That's how they've pitched this, by the way. They said the show is Steven Scott, Shaun Priest, and the stars of AMI.
Yeah, I like that.
No, hang on. We are also the stars of AMI. Why are we not included in that list?
No, it was perfectly clear in the memo. They're the stars.
I see.
I agree, actually.
Okay, fine. So they're the stars and we're just the stuff in between. But the glue, the cement.
We're
that
the
holds it
waiters
together.
of the Christmas dinner on the 25th to...
Pretty much, the butlers. Yes, well, we're going to be here with Kelly MacDonald from Kelly & Co, of course, Ramia Amnuthan, star, of course, from AMI Audiobook Review, also part of the Kelly & Co show, and Jacob Shamansky from his own show, the new show that started this year on AMI Today. So all of them will be joining us for a festive treat as we sit round our virtual table and chew the turkey of tech.
That was good.
Actually, that wasn't bad considering that came out of a food coma intolerance weekend.
I think you should hit the outro. I think we're not going to get any better than that.
It's not going to get better than that. So yes, after that we will be off, but we are starting the new year on the 6th of January. We'll take a break and we'll be back on the 6th of January with a special week of programming focusing on Braille at 200, celebrating Braille and really getting into, as you know, the serious and the honest conversations that we have here on Double Tap about Braille and its future. And we've got some great guests to join us through the course of that week. So join us for that. And of course, lots of your opinions chucked in the middle as well. Not yours, Shaun, but our wonderful listeners. So yeah, all that coming up from the 6th. That entire week we'll be focusing on Braille, our special series, Braille at 200, kicking off 2025. We are back tomorrow, though, with plenty more. Shaun Priest, have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.